Hmm. All right. So I do owe you guys I owe you guys a talk about God, and I don't know if now's the time to do it, but I'll just share some of my thoughts on God. Okay, and when I say God, I mean the God of the Bible, the God that gave the Ten Commandments to Moses, the God that is three in one, and that would be God the Father, Jesus the Son, and the Holy Spirit, the Holy Trinity. Okay, so that is the God that I believe in, that created the world and everybody in it. So I think of God, first of all, as a creator. Okay, he made everything, but he made us special. Okay, so I think it's undeniable that human beings are different than all the other creation. And what I mean by that is we have free will, whereas a dog is going to be a dog. They're all basically the same. A dog will always act like a dog. A cat will act like a cat. You plant an acorn, it'll grow into an oak tree. They're all on some level, if you think about it like a computer program, they're programmed to be a certain way and to do a certain thing. Whereas people are not. Yes, we have some things, we all breathe, and, we all need to eat, and, there are basic functions that you could argue are programmed. But we are different than any other creation, so that makes us special because, well, I believe we have a soul and we have free will. We can decide what we want to do, what we want to believe in, what we don't want to believe in. Okay, so just so that we're clear, that's what I think. So, what I'd like you to do now hold on a minute. My music just shut off. Oh. Came back on. Okay, so what I'd like you all to do is imagine if you were God, okay? And you wanted to create a being with free will, that had free will and could choose to either, follow you or deny you. And that's basically, your choice. But you want to create a being almost like you want to, if you want to have kids someday, you'll kind of relate to how God is, right? You want a kid, so you have a kid, but the kid has free will and can do whatever he or she wants to do, whether you want them to do it or not. But they kind of, all right. So again, you're God, and you've created this being, a human being that has free will. But you don't want to influence his decision to, know you, or his choice to either know you or disobey you. Okay, so, but you just can't make a human being, right, and leave them on their own. You have to have some interaction with them. And so this is what I think God did. When Adam and Eve, he first created them, they were like a baby, and he was with them in the Garden of Eden. Okay, and that was like step one. I mean, and that's like the infancy of humanity. Okay, And then as they grew up, he gave them, the 10 Commandments with Moses, when he had a chosen people that he wanted to bring, wanted to let the world know who God was, okay? And so he gave them the 10 Commandments. And so that's like, like kids in school, right? You teach them the basics, the alphabet, how to do math, all this stuff, okay? So he's still involved, but not like he was with Adam and Eve, not like when humanity was in their infancy. All right, so I hope this is making sense. So then they get a little older, right? As time goes on, the Jewish people didn't keep their end of the bargain. Wow, look at that, it's amazing. So he made a covenant with the Jewish people to bring him to the rest of the world as an example. But they did not live up to their end of the bargain. And when he gave them the 10 Commandments as a people, they did not bring God to the rest of the world. And then what happened then was he created prophets, and they tried to tell the people and instruct the people to get them back on track. So this would be like when humanity was in high school, right? And then it's still, people were not listening, they weren't doing what they were supposed to do. So then, God decided to do it himself, and that's when, again, Jesus was there in the beginning. He was there when the world was created. As a matter of fact, I would argue that Jesus is more interested in humanity than God the Father. But that's for another topic of discussion. But anyway, so then he sent Jesus, and that's when Christianity, right, was introduced to people. And by the way, we're behind the Bartlett Lake. That's the dam. And so that was like college for humanity, right? So humanity is with Christ. When Christ came, and basically, he's the one that laid down the deal for everybody. And, the Bible was written after his crucifixion. So, again, this is like, the Bible is your university textbook, or, higher education, right? So, again, all I'm saying is, if you look at the way it was done, and if you were God, how would you do it? Because again, I really think that God, this fire was recent, because it wasn't like this last time I was out here. But what I'm saying is, if you were God and you wanted to accomplish what he accomplished, well, that used to be a campground back there, and it's all burnt out. So again, if you wanted to get humanity to where they were, after the Bible was written, but again, you want people to have their free will to choose to, believe in you or not believe in you without knowing you, without, because everyone's like, well, if God would come down and talk to me in person, well, he did that. He appeared to the Israelites when they were in the desert, and they still disobeyed him. So they had a first-hand experience with God. I mean, again, they saw him as a pillar of smoke during the day and a column of fire at night, but it's like, this is supernatural stuff, and they still didn't do what they were supposed to do. So I hope I explain it, because that's what I believe. And again, God is doing all of this for a purpose. Like, we're all being brought along for his purpose in the afterlife. And I'd like to touch too on I don't know if I want to go into that. Yeah, I think we'll just leave it there. But I do believe in God, and I have to say, like when I was a teenager, when I thought about it, I was like, okay, it seems logical that that people created God, not the other way around. To me, that's made more sense at the time, not knowing anything, right? I mean, I just thought about it and I was like, people have questions that they can't answer. Like, where did we come from? How did we get here? And they didn't know the answer, so they just said, oh, this heavenly person that we don't know and can't see created us. And so I thought, maybe mankind had created God to answer those questions and not the other way around. But the funny thing is, it's like, once you take it seriously, right? And what I'd recommend is reading the Bible. I mean, it is not easy read, but if you get a learning Bible like I have, you can read the Bible verse and then have it explained to you in the book itself. So each Bible verse might have a short little explanation at the bottom, right? So again, I've read through the complete Old Testament. I'm in the New Testament right now. It is not an easy read. And I would also say that, besides just reading it, you may want to study it. All right, I've been down here before. There, as far as I know, there's no way through. That's Rio Verde on the other side there. But they have a fence down here, and there's probably a way through, but I don't know how to get through here. There's the fence right ahead of me. Here's the rocks. This is what we were missing. Okay. But anyway, the more you read and study and learn about the Bible and everything, it starts to make more sense. That's all I'm going to say. But I hope that made sense to somebody that might be struggling, because it's like I've listened to preachers and they don't really explain why they believe what they believe, and I hope it makes total sense to me. It was really sandy right there, because again, God is trying to accomplish something. Oh, this is deep sand. God is trying to accomplish something. That's all I can say, and it has to be this way. Because a lot of people are like, why do things have to be the way that they are? Well, they have to be this way because that's the way He wants to do it. Somebody said you could get through this gate, but I don't know. It looks pretty locked up to me. But I think this is the way to Rio Verde. All right, there's my thoughts on God. Thanks for listening.